Happening now, Cattaraugus County health officials report the county's 7th COVID-19 related death and 6 new positive cases locally. Plus, a local senior care facility is suspending its visitation following 3 positive test results there.
And it's another rinse and repeat day. Scattered lake effect rain showers are going to be moving across the area, and we're going to get a little bit of a break, but chilly temperatures on the way. I'll tell you about it next. The news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now on this Friday. I'm Justin Gould. Cattaraugus County health officials reported the county's 7th death related to COVID-19 and 6 new positive cases. Officials say a 75-year-old man had developed respiratory failure and was unable to overcome his illness despite treatment. In addition, the Cattaraugus County Health Department says that 6 additional confirmed cases of the virus were reported yesterday. There are now 21 active cases there, with 209 people recovered. Meanwhile, Chautauqua County health officials reported 12 new cases of the virus yesterday, with more than half located in the northern part of the county. And today, they reported 1 new case in the northern part of the county. Well, visitation to 3 area nursing homes has been suspended after 3 employees tested positive for COVID-19. Heritage Ministries CEO Lisa Hagelin tells WNY News Now the test results came back at Heritage Village in Gary, Heritage Park in Jamestown, and Heritage Green in Greenhurst. She says each employee was asymptomatic and no other employees or residents have tested positive for the virus at this time.
You know, due to some privacy, I can't go too far into details, but what I can tell you is out of those roles, 1 had direct contact, 1 had partial, and the other 1 had limited. However, they were in full PPE, and the residents' tests have come back negative. So really a great kudos to our staff and our infection control director for really, because we're doing it the right way, we've limited that spread. Not to say it couldn't happen, especially with the families that were coming in. But, you know, we're thankful that they were in proper PPE. But, you know, the cost of the PPE, the cost of the testing, we're rolling upwards into the $3 to $4 million mark right now, just in our county.
Hagelin says after 14 days from the test results coming back, those facilities will be able to reopen their visitation, and her organization will be updating the public once they're able to move forward with reopening plans. Meanwhile, the President of the United States and the First Lady have also tested positive for COVID-19. Early this morning, the President tweeted, "We will begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately," and that he will get through this together with his wife. It comes after Hope Hicks, one of the President's top aides, tested positive for the virus as well. John Lawrence has more from Washington.
Shocking news from the White House overnight.
We're obviously all hoping he and the First Lady don't develop much in the way of symptoms.
President and Mrs. Trump both tweeting early Friday morning that they have tested positive for the coronavirus.
The important thing is that he is in an age group that does carry risk for severe COVID. So this is very concerning.
The announcement came just hours after Hope Hicks, one of the president's top aides, tested positive for COVID-19. White House aides have called Trump the most tested man in the country, although he has repeatedly downplayed mask wearing and social distancing.
It's obviously unsettling, but I'm not surprised given the contagiousness of this virus and what have been the lax protocols.
The number of people that could potentially be exposed and at risk of contracting this virus is significant here.
Several of the president's upcoming scheduled events have been canceled, including a rally in Florida. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
John, thank you. The president's physician says that the 74-year-old and the First Lady are both well at this time, and they plan to remain home within the White House during their quarantine. Well, while he remains optimistic about getting past the COVID-19 virus, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin tells Congressman Tom Reed how important bipartisan support is to small businesses. Mnuchin predicted a relatively strong quarter for business and noted that while some areas of the economy are doing well, others, such as travel and restaurants, are struggling to survive during the pandemic. He says he would like to see more money for schools, childcare, and airlines, adding that government aid for state and local governments are helping firefighters, police, and first responders continue to get paid. The congressman says he's remained hopeful for small businesses and the economy so far.
To all the manufacturers and constituents out there, know we are here 24/7 for you. Whatever we can do to help, we want you to know. We're going to get through this COVID-19 crisis together. We're going to come out of it on the other end stronger, wiser, and more committed to making sure that you have opportunities that are greater and better days of tomorrow ahead.
Treasury Secretary Mnuchin has cautioned that loan programs may not be the best option for many small businesses, saying that they should examine grants instead of loans. The Treasury Secretary also urged companies to apply for loan forgiveness. Well, we thank you for joining us here for WNY News Now on what has come to be a pretty busy news day, Friday here. Let's check in with the comments and say hello to Sue. Good to see you. Thanks for getting a check of your local headlines. Good to see Colleen, Lee, David, Bobby, Bruce, Samantha, Dave, and Rod. Hopefully you are all having a great day. We thank you so much. Good to see Joshua and Greg as well. Well, now let's get a check of our First Defense weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter is standing by with that. In Dakota, it seems like the last couple of days weather-wise, we've had some pretty amazing picks come into the studio.
Yes, we have. And once again, and a happy Friday to all of you at the end of another work week here. And once again, this is from Sean Sweatman. He pilots the Storm Interceptor. Once again, he was out today. And how about this? I'm going to test your weather smarts here for a second for all of our viewers here. Does anybody happen to know what this is right here? It extends from the cloud. Anybody know what this is? If you guessed rain shaft, ding, 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 you are a winner. And I do have it up here. There it is, lake effect rain shaft. There it is for you. And what you're seeing is actually the rain that it's dumping out of the clouds and coming down into the lake. And this is actually lake effect. And so again, it's not lake effect snow, but it is lake effect rain. And this is something we've been telling you over the past couple of days was likely going to be the case. But here's a live look over Warren. You can see the fall foliage starting to show up here on the wet roads. 51 is the current temperature today. So once again, it's going to be much cooler once again today, and it's going to be that way pretty much throughout the weekend. First Defense Doppler radar shows you those scattered lake effect rain showers. It's not as organized as it was yesterday, so it's going to be a little bit more scattered and spotty in nature through the afternoon, but this is going to continue through the afternoon in pockets, and much like the same deal with lake effect snow, it's not going to be raining everywhere, and not everybody is going to get wet, but where you do get wet, there could be some locally heavy downpours. 55 was the high yesterday, and the record high for today is 84, set back in 1988. So basically through the afternoon, spotty to scattered lake effect rain showers, locally heavy downpours in spots, mostly cloudy breaks in between, and chilly. 50 on the highest hills, best you'll be able to do there. 57 across the lower elevations, and the wind comes up a little bit west out of the west at 7 to 16 miles per hour. The weekend is going to be chilly, and then will we see a break in the rain coverage? I'll tell you about it in a few. Justin?
All right, Dakota, certainly Joanna chimes in. She says burr, and yeah, that's a great word to describe this
Who else
weather.
turned their heat on?
I haven't done that yet, but oh gosh, tis the season for it, I guess. Dakota, thank you. Well, back here at home, while legally and ethically limited as to what he can say, Chautauqua County District Attorney Patrick Swanson expressed disappointment with a decision to dismiss a murder indictment returned against a 25-year-old Jamestown man. Yesterday, Judge David Foley dismissed a grand jury indictment for 1 count of second-degree murder and 2 counts of second-degree attempted murder returned against Julio Montanez. Montanez was previously charged with first-degree manslaughter by the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office, who says he allegedly shot and killed the 29-year-old man following a dispute in Sherman last year. The judge cited errors in the presentation to the grand jury. Swanson says the law supports his arguments and that his office firmly believes he followed the law. Montanez's attorney, Chautauqua County Public Defender Ned Barone, tells us that his office argued that Swanson failed to inform the grand jury of the justifiable option, i.e. self-defense.
It really doesn't matter whether or not there was self-defense, but more importantly, it was an issue that had to have been presented to the grand jury, we believe, and wasn't. So we argued statutorily, because it's an exculpatory defense, meaning that charges could be dismissed if a juror believed it was self-defense and was not presented as need be by the district attorney during grand jury.
Barone says he and his staff submitted the motion to dismiss 3 weeks ago. His client is currently in Chautauqua County Jail, but Barone says he'll be asking the court to consider releasing him based on that dismissal. DA Swanson has 30 days to bring the case back to grand jury. Well, employees at the Salamanca Allegheny Casino and Resort have been laid off as part of a system-wide layoff by the Seneca Gaming Corporation. A casino spokesman declined to break down the action by casino or elaborate beyond a previous released statement. The most recent job loss, 300 employees across the casinos in Salamanca, Buffalo, and Niagara Falls, is in addition to 150 layoffs in August. The corporation officials are blaming the COVID-19 pandemic for lower attendance at the 3 casinos, meaning a sharp loss in revenue. Officials say they will work with those furloughed employees to try to place them in some other positions across the company. Well, coming up next here, New York State launching a new app to boost its contact tracing efforts. Details coming up. And later, one of America's most beloved children turns 70 today. That and more as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
Hi, I'm George Borrello, and I'm proud to serve as your senator for New York's 57th Senate District. In fact, in my first year, I've passed many pieces of legislation as well as helping people and businesses in these challenging times. From fighting for a safe, common-sense reopening of our state's economy during the COVID-19 pandemic to continuing the push for the repeal of the state's flawed criminal justice changes, which have made us all less safe, I am working hard for you every day as your state senator. Your vote will help me continue my mission to boost New York's economy struggling from the COVID shutdown and for small businesses not just to survive, but thrive. I will also continue to hold the government accountable by reviewing policies that led to the tragic nursing home deaths statewide. I'm proud to represent our beautifully diverse region, and I will be honored to have your vote on Tuesday, November 3rd, so that I can continue my work fighting for you. It's not about rhetoric, it's about results.
Paid for by Borrello for Senate.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
For the past 9 years, I've been a prosecutor right here in Chautauqua County, fighting to keep this community safe. My family lives here with me in Fredonia, and I grew up in Sherman, New York. Fighting to make sure that these communities stay safe is so very important to me. We have the highest caseload of any county in this state, and as your district attorney, I'm dedicated to making sure that each case gets handled the right way for not only the victims, but for the people that live in this county. I'm fully invested in this community, and I'm fully invested in this community's future. Vote Patrick Swanson for Chautauqua County District Attorney.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
New York State is taking contact tracing a step further by releasing a new mobile app that alerts users as they are within 6 feet of someone who may have COVID-19. Governor Andrew Cuomo announced yesterday the app, COVID Alert NY, notifies users of potential exposure while maintaining privacy and security. With the launch, New York joins New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware in creating the regional app network that operates across state lines to try to stop the spread of COVID-19.
How does it work? It works from your cell phone data. The app knows where your cell phone is. The app will know where a person who tested positive was through their cell phone. And the app can tell you if you were within 6 feet of that person.
The free mobile app is available to anyone 18 or older who lives, works, or attends a college in New York, and it's available for download from the Google Play and Apple App Store. Well, it's October, when the days are getting shorter and soon colder. But as this pandemic persists, some are worried that it'll get worse before it gets better. From the holidays to Election Day, Mandy Gaither has some tips to help keep us all healthy.
Fall is in the air, but with cooler weather comes more time spent inside, where coronavirus is thought to spread more easily. Coupled with COVID's collision with flu season, and the next few months could get ugly where the virus is concerned. But there are ways to stay safe. Even though it's cooler, keep those gatherings outdoors. Invest in ways to keep hangouts warmer, like a fire pit. And get your flu shot, the CDC suggests, by the end of October. When it comes to Halloween and Thanksgiving, it'll be tempting to skirt safety measures, but COVID doesn't take a holiday. If you take a risk to travel, cut down on exposure. Don't dine indoors at restaurants. You can also create alternate holiday plans. According to the CDC, the lowest risk version of how to celebrate includes gathering with only the people you've been isolating with. And when it comes to voting in November, it can be done safely too. You can vote by mail, or if voting in person, vote early. Dates and hours vary by state, but polling places are typically less crowded ahead of Election Day. And if you do vote in person on Election Day, learn as much about your polling place as possible. Bring the essentials, a mask and sanitizer, and keep your distance from others. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Mandy, thank you. And what might be a little surprising, experts say the real best way to stay healthy is simply wash your hands frequently and keep at least 6 feet of distance from others while wearing a face covering in public. Well, the Chautauqua County's Marine Toys for Tots launched its 2020 campaign with a virtual kickoff this morning. Several of the organization's participants, including coordinator Heather Brown, appeared on Zoom. Officials say this year's event will be rather different because of COVID-19. Brown tells us that because of the pandemic, this year's campaign will be key to providing some stability for children during the Christmas season. The organization says there will be several events and fundraisers from tonight from 5 to 8 at the Southern Tier Distillery that will include some celebrity bartenders, a basket raffle, and proceed donations. Of course, we'll have much more on how you can help their campaign at WNYNewsNow.com. Well, good grief. One of America's most beloved children, Charlie Brown, and his lovable but mischievous pup Snoopy turned 70 today. According to the Charles M. Schulz Museum, Peanuts began publication on this day in 1950. They appeared in a record 17,800 individual comic strips and more than 2,500 newspapers, making it one of the most iconic strips in history. Now, as the characters developed, they also provided Schulz with ideas. However, he said he was unaware of these transformations until they actually appeared reprinted in books long after they debuted in newspapers. Well, happy birthday, Charlie Brown. Certainly a great tune that we all come to remember. And Dakota's even getting in on the celebration a little bit. I love their Christmas. That's really my favorite one, Dakota. So our producer says we have to watch the mic because we don't want to get a copyright strike.
30 seconds.
but no, it's a cool strip. And I believe most things are copyrighted, Dakota. This show is copyrighted.
Well, I mean, I kind of figured it would be like in free use or something.
No, I don't think so, because it
Because
would
it's
have
so
been
popular.
a Warner Brother publication,
Okay.
right? So, but yeah, from the strips to the movies, and I think that's when you really get down to it. I mean, you walk around town and you'll see people with Charlie Brown keychains. It's so much more than just a child's entertainment, and really that's what it's all about, is bringing people together. And I think, unfortunately now newer generations, ourselves included, maybe don't have that joy of, can't believe I'm saying this, but opening the newspaper and reading those Saturday comics, where today, I mean, everything's so instant, right?
Right.
But we see that in other medias and forms, so it's good to still see it living on.
Yeah,
nevertheless.
and in my household, it's sort of become a tradition where, back when we used to have cable, we used to be able to, for example, when it was on Channel 7, I think is mostly when it airs on ABC, Charlie Brown stuff during the holidays. Like, they'd have the Halloween version, and then they'd have the Thanksgiving version, and then they'd have the Christmas, and then I think 4 does Rudolph. So
all these
it's sort
great
of become a
classics.
tradition where it's like we sit around and watch Rudolph or the Charlie Brown specials. I don't know if anybody still does that anymore besides my family.
I feel like more people probably. Let us know in the comments down below. Do you guys still enjoy these types of things? Good to see Susie, Sherry, Jamie, Jen, and Katie as well. Happy Friday to all of you, TGIF, and a lot of people looking forward towards that weekend, Dakota. And I feel like now that we're into the fall season, we're kind of getting ready. I mean, last night it was cold out there.
Yes. I actually had a heater on last night. I mean, it was pretty chilly. But Dave says, Dakota, please don't swear like that ishy 4-letter word. Well, hey, I'll swear one more time. Let's take a look at the main graphics, and we'll talk about the snow throughout October. Yes, I know. I know. The weather guy being the party pooper, I'm sorry. But, this is a graphic we showed before talking about the snowiest Octobers going back over 100 years. The snowiest October ever for the city was back in 1926, where we had 10 inches of snow on the ground in the city. And more recently, the 5th snowiest was in 1997, where we had 4.1 inches of snow. The big question is, will it snow this October? And the answer is still the same. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell you this far out ahead, but at least over the next 7 to 10 days, it's not going to snow. So there's that for you. And but at least it's been wet. We've had 0.08 of an inch of rain over the past 2 days. This is our rain total. Actually, this is the rain for today, 0.08 of an inch as of noon hour. And since yesterday, since we started the month, we've had just a little more than a quarter inch of rain, 0.29 inches of rain over the past 2 days. And this is well-needed rain. We need this because we are basically in a low-end drought condition here. So the more rain, the merrier. 51 as a noon hour right now with a healthy west wind of 13 miles per hour. And the wind chill's down to 46 degrees. So it's going to be feeling chilly when you walk outside. So sweaters, light jackets, might not be a bad idea. And maybe even the hoodies as well to protect yourself from some of the rain as well. And it's going to be a weekend that is uttered in chilly. Not that kind of chilly. We're talking about chilly air. And it's not rootin' tootin' chilly, if you catch my drift. 54 today, the weekend down into the lower 50s. But look at as we head into next week here, we're talking about temperatures going back into the mid to upper 60s once again. So yes, a little bit of warmth, but it's not going to last long. First Defense Doppler radar shows you this is what's left of the lake effect rain. It's kind of fizzled apart now as it's moving further inland into Cattaraugus County. It's losing its lake connection, so it's starting to weaken off. But notice how the lake here has generated another lake effect response here that is in northwestern Pennsylvania, extending into far western Chautauqua County, and then extending down into Warren County. And we'll put this in a time lapse over the past couple of hours, and it's coming straight off the lake. It is pure lake effect like it has been over the past couple of days. And the answer is, there's a question about why is it so chilly? Well, it has to do with the upper air pattern. This is the 500 millibar level. This is when the winds start to follow. This is basically when the weather starts to follow the wind pattern up in the atmosphere. Notice how the jet stream dips like this as it goes into the Ohio, basically as it goes into the Great Lakes region. This is what's called a trough. It's bringing in much cooler air down from Canada, and the trough is moving east. So as it continues to move east, we're still going to be chilly, but after it clears out to the east, out into the Atlantic, we'll actually see a little bit of a brief warm-up. Now, Future Scan paints you the picture of a few of those lake effect, few lake showers today. Definitely possible through the afternoon, and that's going to continue early on tonight. Now, after midnight, it likely will taper off to isolated, and we still could have a couple showers, especially after midnight. And then tomorrow should be a mainly dry day. Chilly, though, as temperatures only stay in the 50s for much of the day. So zone forecast, the Lake Erie shoreline today, warmer spot, maybe upper 50s. That'll do it. And the lake is still primed and generating at least a couple bands of lake rain. Inland areas, the hills and the valleys may only top out in the upper 50s today with showers from time to time. Next 7 days of your life right there. The weekend, again, chilly and should be mainly dry Saturday. Another chance for rain at least on Sunday, but not all day rain. Partial sunshine Monday. And then we're back to milder air Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday and Thursday could be a bit breezy. That's something we still need to fine tune with temperatures at least going back down into the mid 50s by next Thursday. Now for the pet of the week, here's Jay Gould.
Hey, you know what, Dakota? This is my favorite story of the week. In an effort to help our furry friends find a forever home, we're partnered with the Chautauqua County Humane Society in our Pet of the Week segment. Joining us live right now is Brian Papalea. He's the Director of Community Relations for the Chautauqua County Humane Society. Happy Brian. Happy Friday, Brian. Great to have you here.
Happy Friday to you, Justin. Yep, we are here at the Bark Park at the Chautauqua County Humane Society, and I'm going to show you the real star here. This here is Lucky, and Lucky is 5 years old, and he's up for adoption right now here at CCHS. And he's a great dog. He loves activity. He loves to play fetch. He loves to sniff. And he also, when he's done with that, he loves to cuddle. So he's got a lot of great qualities. The one thing he's not a fan of is cats. Just a heads up on that.
Yeah, certainly. He looks like a great boy, and you got to do that. I love when dogs stretch like this after they've had a good play. Overall, does he seem like he'd be good for maybe kids, especially not necessarily younger kids, but if you have kids who are pretty active and they want to go out there and play the ball.
Yeah, I would say if you have like the over 8 years old teenagers, that age range would be awesome because he would love to feed off that energy.
Yeah, certainly. And right now, I mean, he looks like he's enjoying the day, albeit cooler out there. Certainly it looks like a lot of fun. And, your dog park is always so cool, being able to get out and energize the animals. Do you think that makes for a better experience?
Oh, definitely. For them to have this opportunity to come out and, not have to be leashed and to run around. And we do have dog play groups. The behavior department works hard to make sure they get good fits together and they'll get a group of dogs out here playing. We're very grateful for this space.
Yeah, certainly. So Brian and Lucky, thanks so much for tuning in today. Brian, if people are interested in learning more about Lucky and how maybe they could get connected with him, all they have to do, right, is fill out a application online, and that gets the process started. Doesn't necessarily mean a commitment, but gets the process started to maybe meet up with him.
And you're 100% correct with that. Yeah, get the online application at chqhumane.org, or you can get a paper one at our Second Chances thrift store, and that gets the ball rolling, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, certainly. So please, folks, reach out to him. You can give him a call if you have questions, 665-2209, or really the best place, chqhumane.org. And I just love going on and looking at the furry friends that are on there. And if you can, help Lucky out and get him a good home. Or just schedule the time and meet up with him. Certainly, maybe he'd be a good fit for you. Brian and Lucky, thanks so much for coming on today, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Justin.
Absolutely. Well, that is going to do it for us today. We thank you for joining us here for WNY News Now. Of course, news does continue 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com and on our mobile app. We'll leave you with this live look over downtown Jamestown. Dakota and I are back on Monday. Hope to see you then.